Hello everyone, today's video is going to be a quick comprehensive guide on how to start going to therapy. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with our weekly videos on mental health related topics and coping skills for you to apply in your own everyday lives. My name is Gabriel Arroyo and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist located in Southern California. So you've been considering therapy, but you're just not quite sure on how to start going. So here's a quick comprehensive guide on how to start going to therapy. So you made the decision and you want to know where to start. So the first thing to think about is your goals. What are you trying to accomplish out of therapy? And you don't have to have this fully locked in, but it's a good starting place, so that way it's going to help you to figure out where to go and who to see. So if you're working on depression, anxiety, communication skills, relationship advice, or just additional support on everyday life stressors. So figuring out what your goal is going to be in therapy, and then that's going to help us narrow down our search, because there's millions and millions of therapists out there in the world and they're all great, but we want to find the right one for you. So if you haven't already, be sure to check out our previous video on how to find the right mental health therapist. So once you figured out what your goal is or what you want to address, we have the decision to make if we're going to be using insurance or private pay. So if you're using insurance, I would go down that route of contacting your insurance and asking for a provider list. Once you have that list, now we already know who's going to be in network. So who's insurance going to pay for? So that way it's going to be a little bit easier to kind of figure out which therapist we're going to see. And then from there, we can start doing our research. Or if you're deciding to use private pay, we highly recommend psychologytoday.com or goodtherapy.org. Both of those are going to be linked below in the description, so check that out. That's going to help you find a therapist within your local area. So we have our goals. We know if we're going to do either private pay or insurance, and now let's start finding the right therapist for us. So finding the right therapist, we're looking for, are they going to be able to help us address our goals? So do they have the specialty we need? And are they within our price budget? And do they have availability? Availability is important. So if you have urgent needs and that therapist isn't available, please be sure to follow all the emergency procedures of contacting emergency services, the Suicide Prevention Hotline, or going to the nearest emergency room if needed. Once we're starting to look at these things, I recommend contacting the therapist. Make a few calls, and I do highly recommend reaching out by phone call. That way you could hear their voice, you could interact with them, and you could kind of judge and base it off of, like, is this going to be a good fit for me? You get a feel for that therapist and know what they're all about and how they're responding to you over the phone. So talk to your therapist and ask a few questions of whatever's on your mind, whatever you're interested in. I would definitely ask about rates. I would ask if they accept insurance or how they do billing for insurance. I would ask for availability, if they offer alternative treatment options like telehealth, and then start kind of filtering down of what your needs are and how they're going to be able to help you with your particular needs. Once you discuss that with the therapist and you found a therapist that you really like, schedule an appointment. Schedule an appointment and then go into that appointment with some tips that we discussed in a previous video of what to expect in your first therapy appointment. And then you're ready to go. So once again, it's all about knowing what it is that you want to accomplish in your treatment plan. So setting a goal in mind of what you want to work on in therapy, and you really don't have to have a specific plan. If you just want to go in and try it out just to get additional support, advisement, someone to talk to and work through some things with, that's fine too. That's what we're all qualified to do. So any therapist could help you with that. But if it's something specific, like managing depression or coping with chronic illness, that's when we want to have that goal in mind, so that way we could kind of filter down of which therapist we want to see. And then deciding if we're going to do insurance or private pay. So that's going to help us navigate which directory to go with, so that way we could find the right therapist and know that we're either going to get reimbursed, insurance is going to cover it, or we know how much to budget for our out-of-pocket pay. If you have any other questions, please feel free to comment below or contact us via email. All of my information is loaded in the description below. Also, there's online therapy resources that I'll also link in the description below. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with our weekly videos on mental health related topics and coping skills for you to apply in your own everyday lives. Thank you.